Kindness is a beautiful thing, a quality that has the power to bring people together and make the world a better place. However, kindness without boundaries can sometimes lead to being used, and that's a reality many fail to recognize until they find themselves hurt and drained. The fine line between kindness and being used is not always obvious, but it's a line that must be understood and respected if you want to preserve your peace and maintain your self-worth. When you're a kind-hearted person, it's easy to want to help everyone. You want to lend a hand, offer support, and be there for others in their time of need. That's noble, no doubt about it. But there are people in this world who see kindness not as a strength, but as an opportunity. They see it as a chance to exploit you, to take without giving back, to use your compassion for their own gain. These individuals are not looking for genuine connection or mutual respect. They're looking for what they can extract from you. It often starts small. Someone might ask for a favor, something simple, something reasonable. You agree because it feels good to help. Then they ask again, and before long, their requests become more frequent, more demanding. What you might not notice immediately is how these exchanges are rarely, if ever, reciprocated. They don't show gratitude or make an effort to support you in return. Slowly but surely, the dynamic shifts and you find yourself giving more than you should, while they give little to nothing back. This is where the line begins to blur. You may convince yourself that you're just being nice, that this is what a good person does. But true kindness isn't about sacrificing yourself for the benefit of others, especially when those others don't respect or appreciate your efforts. True kindness is about balance. It's about giving from a place of abundance, not depletion, and ensuring that your own needs are not neglected in the process. Recognizing the signs that you're being used is essential. It's not always obvious, especially when you have a naturally giving heart. Pay attention to patterns. Are you always the one reaching out, checking in, and offering help, while the other person remains passive? Do they only contact you when they need something, never to ask how you're doing or to offer their support? If the answer is yes, it's time to reevaluate that relationship. There's a difference between kindness and enabling. When you continually give to someone who takes advantage of your generosity, you're not just being kind, you're enabling their behavior. You're teaching them that it's acceptable to take from you without giving back. And the more you enable, the more they'll continue to take, often without even realizing the harm they're causing. That's why it's so important to set boundaries. Boundaries are not about shutting people out, they're about creating a healthy balance. They're about saying, I'm willing to help you, but not at the expense of my own well-being. They're about recognizing your limits and communicating them clearly. When you establish boundaries, you protect yourself from being used while still allowing space for genuine kindness to flourish. It's also important to remember that being kind doesn't mean being a pushover. It doesn't mean you have to say yes to everything or put everyone else's needs before your own. In fact, saying no can be one of the kindest things you do for yourself and for others. It teaches people to respect your time, energy, and resources, and it sets the tone for healthier, more balanced relationships. At the same time, you have to be honest with yourself. Are you being kind because you truly want to help, or are you doing it out of a sense of obligation or fear of conflict? If your kindness is motivated by guilt or the desire to please others at all costs, it's not coming from a healthy place. It's important to recognize that you are not responsible for everyone else's happiness. You are not obligated to fix every problem or meet every need. Your kindness should come from a place of genuine care, not from a need to prove your worth or avoid rejection. This is not to say you should stop being kind. The world needs more kindness, more empathy, more people willing to lend a helping hand. But kindness without boundaries can be just as harmful as indifference. It can leave you feeling exhausted, unappreciated, and even resentful. And when that happens, your kindness loses its authenticity. It becomes a chore, a burden, rather than a gift. The truth is, not everyone deserves access to your kindness. That doesn't make you selfish, it makes you wise. Save your energy for the people who genuinely value and appreciate you, the ones who are willing to give as much as they take. Those are the relationships that enrich your life, the ones where kindness is mutual and respect is shared. As you navigate the fine line between kindness and being used, remember this: your kindness is a strength, not a weakness. But it's a strength that must be protected, nurtured, and shared wisely. By setting boundaries, recognizing your worth, and being intentional about where and how you give your kindness, you can ensure that it remains a source of joy and fulfillment, rather than a drain on your spirit. Your heart is one of the most valuable possessions you have. It is the center of your emotions, the seat of your dreams, and the driving force behind the connections you make with others. But just like any treasure, it requires safeguarding. Too often, people give their hearts away freely, trusting that others will handle it with the same care and respect they would. Unfortunately, not everyone will see its worth. Some will misuse it, take it for granted, or treat it as something disposable. That's why protecting your heart is not just an option, it's a necessity. When you protect your heart, it doesn't mean you stop loving or caring. It doesn't mean you become cold or distant. What it means is that you take control of who has access to your innermost feelings and thoughts. You become selective about the energy you allow into your life and the people you allow close to you. Protecting your heart is about understanding its value and refusing to let anyone diminish it. The first step to safeguarding your heart is recognizing its worth. Too many people underestimate their own value, convincing themselves that they don't deserve to be treated with respect or love. But your heart is unique. It holds your passions, your kindness, and your capacity to give. It is not something to be taken lightly, and you shouldn't let anyone treat it that way. You have to believe in your own worth before you can expect others to see it. This belief in your value forms the foundation for setting boundaries. Boundaries are not walls that shut people out, they are guidelines that define how you expect to be treated. They say, I value myself, and I won't allow anyone to harm or disrespect me. Setting boundaries doesn't make you selfish or unkind, it makes you wise. It allows you to protect your emotional health while still maintaining meaningful relationships with those who respect you. Part of protecting your heart involves learning to say no. This simple word can be one of the most powerful tools you have. Too often, people feel obligated to say yes to everything, fearing that saying no will make them seem uncaring or difficult. But every time you say yes to something that drains you or compromises your values, you're giving away a piece of your heart. Saying no is not about being selfish, it's about being honest with yourself and others. It's about recognizing your limits and refusing to overextend yourself for people or situations that don't align with your well-being. Protecting your heart also means being mindful of the relationships you choose to invest in. Not everyone deserves access to your deepest emotions or your time. Some people come into your life with their own agendas, and their presence can be toxic if you're not careful. It's important to evaluate the impact that others have on you. Do they uplift and encourage you, or do they drain and manipulate you? Surround yourself with people who respect and appreciate you, who see your heart as the treasure it is and treat it accordingly. One of the hardest parts of protecting your heart is learning to let go of those who don't. Sometimes we hold on to relationships or situations out of fear, comfort, or the hope that things will change. But holding on to something or someone that consistently hurts you only damages your heart further. Letting go is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. It's an act of self-love that says, I deserve better than this. And you do. Forgiveness is another key element in protecting your heart, but it must be approached carefully. Forgiving someone doesn't mean you allow them to hurt you again. It doesn't mean you forget the lesson you learned from the experience. Forgiveness is about freeing yourself from the burden of anger and resentment, not about giving someone a free pass to mistreat you. When you forgive, you protect your heart from the corrosive effects of bitterness, allowing yourself to heal and move forward. Another way to protect your heart is by nurturing it. This means taking time for self-care, pursuing the things that bring you joy, and honoring your own needs. Too often, people focus all their energy on caring for others and neglect themselves in the process. But you can't pour from an empty cup. Taking care of yourself is not an indulgence, it's a necessity. When you nurture your heart, you strengthen it, making it more resilient to the challenges and difficulties that life inevitably brings. Protecting your heart means trusting your instincts. Your intuition is a powerful guide, one that often knows what's best for you, even when your mind is filled with doubts. If something or someone feels off, pay attention to that feeling. Don't dismiss it or explain it away. Trusting your instincts is a way of honoring your heart's wisdom and keeping it safe from harm. Your heart is not something to be handled carelessly. It deserves to be cherished, respected, and protected. By valuing yourself, setting boundaries, saying no when necessary, and surrounding yourself with the right people, you ensure that your heart remains strong and vibrant. Protecting your heart isn't about building walls, it's about creating a sanctuary where love, peace, and joy can thrive. Setting boundaries and enforcing them is one of the most essential acts of self-respect you can practice. Boundaries are not about shutting people out or being unkind, they are about defining what is acceptable and unacceptable in how others treat you. They are the invisible lines that protect your emotional, mental, and physical well-being. Without boundaries, you leave yourself vulnerable to being taken for granted, disrespected, or even harmed by others who may not have your best interests at heart. The first step in setting boundaries is recognizing your own needs and values. Many people struggle with boundaries because they have been conditioned to believe that prioritizing themselves is selfish. However, this could not be further from the truth. Taking care of yourself is not selfish, it's necessary. You cannot show up for others in a meaningful way if you are constantly depleted or overwhelmed. Boundaries allow you to preserve your energy and maintain a sense of balance in your life, which ultimately benefits not just you but everyone around you. To set boundaries, you must first be clear about what you will and will not tolerate. This requires introspection and honesty with yourself. Ask yourself what behaviors make you feel uncomfortable, disrespected, or undervalued. What situations leave you feeling drained or resentful? Identifying these triggers will help you understand where your boundaries need to be drawn. For example, if you find that someone frequently interrupts your personal time with excessive demands, you might establish a boundary around how and when you are available to help others. Once you have clarity about your boundaries, the next step is to communicate them. This can be challenging, especially if you are not used to advocating for yourself. You might worry about offending others or being perceived as difficult. However, it's important to remember that boundaries are not about controlling others, they are about taking responsibility for your own well-being. Communicating your boundaries doesn't have to be confrontational, it can be done with firmness and respect. For instance, you can say something like, "I appreciate your need for assistance, but I'm not available right now. I hope you understand." Enforcing boundaries is where many people falter, often because they fear conflict or rejection. But setting boundaries without following through renders them meaningless. When someone crosses a boundary you've established, it's crucial to address it immediately. This doesn't mean reacting with anger or hostility, it means calmly and firmly reminding the person of the boundary and its importance to you. For example, if someone repeatedly contacts you outside of the times you've agreed upon, you might say, "I've mentioned before that I'm unavailable after 8 p.m. I need you to respect that." By addressing the issue as it happens, you reinforce the boundary and show that you take it seriously. One of the challenges in enforcing boundaries is dealing with people who resist them. Some individuals may test your limits, either because they are used to having unlimited access to you or because they struggle with respecting others' boundaries. In these situations, it's important to remain consistent. If you give in to their pushback, you send the message that your boundaries are flexible, which can encourage further boundary violations. Stand your ground, even if it feels uncomfortable. Over time, most people will learn to respect the boundaries you set, provided you remain firm and consistent. It's also important to remember that not everyone will respect your boundaries, and that's okay. Some relationships may need to be reevaluated if the other person refuses to honor the limits you've established. This can be difficult, especially if it involves someone close to you, but protecting your peace and well-being must take priority. Ending or limiting contact with someone who consistently disrespects your boundaries is not a failure, it's an act of self-preservation. Setting boundaries also requires you to respect the boundaries of others. Just as you have the right to establish and enforce your limits, so do the people around you. Recognizing and honoring their boundaries fosters mutual respect and strengthens relationships. It also sets a powerful example, showing that boundaries are a healthy and necessary part of any interaction. Another aspect of boundary setting is understanding that it is an ongoing process. As you grow and change, your needs and priorities may shift, and your boundaries will need to be adjusted accordingly. Periodically reassessing your boundaries ensures that they continue to serve you and align with your current values and circumstances. Don't be afraid to refine or strengthen them as needed. Flexibility does not mean weakness, but rather a recognition of your evolving needs. It's essential to approach boundaries with a sense of self-compassion. If you're new to setting boundaries, you may make mistakes along the way. You might struggle to communicate them clearly, enforce them consistently, or overcome the guilt that often accompanies prioritizing yourself. That's okay. Boundary setting is a skill that takes time and practice to develop. Be patient with yourself and celebrate the progress you make, no matter how small. Over time, as you become more confident in setting and enforcing boundaries, you'll find that your relationships become healthier, your stress levels decrease, and your overall sense of well-being improves. Loving yourself first is not an act of selfishness, it is an essential foundation for living a fulfilling and meaningful life. When you prioritize self-love, you create a solid base from which all other aspects of your life can flourish. It is about recognizing your inherent worth, embracing who you are, and taking deliberate steps to nurture your mental, emotional, and physical well-being. This is not a fleeting moment of self-care or a one-time affirmation. It is an ongoing commitment to valuing yourself, even in the face of challenges and imperfections. Self-love begins with self-awareness. To truly love yourself, you need to understand who you are at your core. This means taking the time to reflect on your values, strengths, and weaknesses. It requires honesty and vulnerability, as well as a willingness to confront parts of yourself that you may find uncomfortable. Acknowledging your flaws doesn't diminish your worth. Instead, it allows you to grow and evolve. When you are in tune with yourself, you can make choices that align with your authentic self, rather than trying to live up to the expectations of others. An essential aspect of loving yourself is practicing self-compassion. Too often, people are their own harshest critics, dwelling on mistakes and failures while minimizing accomplishments and strengths. Self-compassion means treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a loved one. It involves recognizing that everyone makes mistakes and that imperfection is part of the human experience. Instead of berating yourself for falling short, self-compassion encourages you to learn from your experiences and move forward with a renewed sense of purpose. Setting boundaries is another crucial component of self-love. When you love yourself, you recognize the importance of protecting your energy and prioritizing your well-being. This means saying no to people or situations that drain you, disrespect you, or compromise your values. Boundaries are not about isolating yourself from others, but about ensuring that your relationships and interactions are mutually respectful and supportive. By setting and enforcing boundaries, you communicate to yourself and others that your needs and feelings matter. Taking care of your physical health is also an expression of self-love. This doesn't mean striving for an unrealistic ideal of perfection. It means listening to your body and giving it what it needs to thrive. This might involve nourishing yourself with wholesome foods, staying active in ways that feel enjoyable, and getting enough rest. It also means being gentle with yourself when your body doesn't look or perform the way you'd like it to. Your worth is not determined by your appearance or abilities. It is intrinsic and unchanging. Self-love also requires you to be mindful of your inner dialogue. The way you talk to yourself can have a profound impact on your self-esteem and overall happiness. If your thoughts are filled with negativity and self-doubt, it becomes difficult to see yourself as worthy of love and respect. Replacing these harmful patterns with affirmations of self-worth and positivity can help you shift your mindset. Remind yourself daily that you are enough, just as you are, and that you deserve kindness and compassion. A significant part of loving yourself is embracing your individuality. Society often places pressure on people to conform to certain standards or fit into specific molds. However, true self-love means celebrating what makes you unique, even if it sets you apart from others. Your quirks, passions, and perspectives are part of what makes you who you are. By embracing your individuality, you give yourself the freedom to live authentically and pursue a life that feels meaningful to you. Loving yourself also means letting go of the need for external validation. While it's natural to want approval and acceptance from others, relying on outside sources for your sense of self-worth can be damaging. When you base your value on the opinions of others, you give away your power and make yourself vulnerable to their judgments. Loving yourself first means finding your worth within, so that external praise becomes a bonus rather than a necessity. It means knowing that you are valuable simply because you exist. Another important aspect of self-love is allowing yourself to rest and recharge. In a world that often glorifies busyness and productivity, it can be easy to feel guilty for taking time to relax. However, rest is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Giving yourself permission to pause and prioritize your well-being is an act of self-respect. Whether it's through quiet moments of reflection, engaging in hobbies you enjoy, or simply taking a break from the demands of daily life, these moments of rest are essential for maintaining your mental and emotional health. Loving yourself means recognizing that you are a work in progress. Self-love is not about achieving a state of perfection or always feeling confident and secure. There will be days when you doubt yourself or struggle with feelings of inadequacy, and that's okay. What matters is your willingness to keep showing up for yourself, even on the hard days. Loving yourself is a journey, not a destination, and every step you take in the direction of self-acceptance is a step toward a more fulfilling and empowered life. Fearing criticism for prioritizing yourself is a common hurdle that holds many people back from living authentically. The desire to be liked, accepted, or validated often causes individuals to put the needs and expectations of others ahead of their own well-being. However, prioritizing yourself is not an act of selfishness, it is an essential part of maintaining balance, health, and happiness. When you focus on your needs and goals, you create a foundation for personal growth and resilience. This shift in focus often draws criticism, especially from those who have benefited from your lack of boundaries, but learning to navigate and rise above this criticism is vital. Criticism often comes from a place of misunderstanding. Many people are conditioned to see selflessness as a virtue and interpret self-prioritization as selfish or self-serving. They may not understand that taking care of yourself enables you to show up more fully in your relationships and responsibilities. You cannot pour from an empty cup. When you are depleted, you have less to give to others. Prioritizing yourself ensures that you remain energized, focused, and capable of fulfilling your roles in a meaningful way. Understanding this principle can help you reframe criticism as a reflection of the critic's perspective, rather than a condemnation of your actions. Another reason people fear criticism is the discomfort of standing out. Choosing to prioritize yourself often goes against societal norms, especially in cultures that value self-sacrifice or group harmony. It can feel unsettling to go against the grain and assert your needs, but this discomfort is part of the growth process. When you prioritize yourself, you are making a statement that your well-being matters, even if it challenges the expectations of those around you. This act of self-assertion can inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect of empowerment and self-respect. Criticism also arises because change disrupts established dynamics. When you start prioritizing yourself, it often upends the expectations and routines of those who are used to your constant availability or compliance. People who have come to rely on your selflessness may react negatively, not because you are wrong, but because your change forces them to adapt. This adjustment can feel uncomfortable for both parties, but it is a necessary step in establishing healthier boundaries and relationships. Over time, many people will come to respect and even admire your decision to prioritize yourself, especially when they see the positive impact it has on your life. It's important to remember that criticism is inevitable, no matter what you do. People will always have opinions, and those opinions are shaped by their own experiences, values, and insecurities. You cannot control how others perceive your actions, but you can control how you respond. Learning to detach from the need for external approval is crucial. Your worth is not determined by the opinions of others, but by how you view and treat yourself. When you prioritize your well-being, you are affirming your value and taking ownership of your life. Facing criticism can be particularly challenging when it comes from people you care about. Friends, family, or colleagues may express disappointment or confusion when you start setting boundaries or prioritizing your needs. While their reactions can be painful, it's important to approach these situations with empathy and clarity. Communicate your intentions openly, explaining that prioritizing yourself is not a rejection of them, but a necessary step for your personal growth and well-being. Some may take time to adjust, but those who truly care about you will ultimately support your decision. Building resilience against criticism involves cultivating a strong sense of self-awareness and self-compassion. When you know your values and goals, you can stay grounded in your decisions, even in the face of opposition. Self-compassion allows you to forgive yourself for any missteps and reaffirm your commitment to your well-being. It's okay to feel uncomfortable or uncertain as you navigate criticism. These feelings are a natural part of stepping into your power. The key is to stay focused on your reasons for prioritizing yourself and to trust that you are making the best choices for your life. Surrounding yourself with supportive people is another effective way to manage criticism. Seek out individuals who understand and respect your decision to prioritize yourself. These allies can provide encouragement, perspective, and reassurance when you face negativity or doubt. Whether it's a trusted friend, a mentor, or a community of like-minded individuals, having a support system can make a significant difference in your ability to stay strong and confident in your choices. It's also helpful to reframe criticism as an opportunity for growth. While some critiques may be rooted in misunderstanding or resistance, others may contain valuable insights. Take the time to evaluate the feedback you receive, separating constructive criticism from unwarranted negativity. Constructive feedback can help you refine your approach and reinforce your commitment to self-prioritization. At the same time, learning to dismiss baseless or mean-spirited criticism can free you from unnecessary stress and self-doubt. Prioritizing yourself is about aligning your life with your values, aspirations, and well-being. The fear of criticism should not deter you from taking this important step. Every time you choose to prioritize yourself, you are affirming your worth and setting an example for others to do the same. Criticism may come, but it is a small price to pay for the freedom and fulfillment that comes with living authentically. Over time, as you grow more confident in your choices and see the positive changes in your life, the opinions of others will hold less sway. You will come to realize that prioritizing yourself is not only a gift to yourself, but also a powerful act of courage and self-respect. Taking control of your destiny is one of the most empowering decisions you can make in life. It is a declaration that you will no longer be a passive observer of your own journey, but an active participant, shaping your path with intention and purpose. This shift in mindset requires recognizing that while external circumstances can influence your life, they do not define it. You are the architect of your future, and the choices you make today are the foundation upon which your destiny is built. The first step in taking control of your destiny is to take ownership of your life. This means accepting responsibility for where you are and acknowledging that your decisions, actions, and attitudes have played a role in shaping your current reality. This is not about blaming yourself for everything that has gone wrong, but about empowering yourself to change what you can. When you take ownership, you move from a mindset of victimhood to one of agency. You begin to see challenges as opportunities for growth and obstacles as stepping stones to success. Clarity about your goals and values is essential for steering your life in the direction you want it to go. Without a clear vision, it is easy to drift through life, reacting to circumstances rather than creating them. Taking time to reflect on what truly matters to you allows you to set meaningful goals that align with your values. These goals act as a compass, guiding your decisions and actions toward a life that feels fulfilling and purposeful. Clarity also helps you prioritize your time and energy, ensuring that you invest in what truly moves you closer to your desired outcomes. Action is the bridge between your dreams and your reality. Once you have a clear vision of your destiny, the next step is to take consistent, intentional steps toward it. This doesn't mean waiting for the perfect moment or ideal conditions. It means starting where you are with what you have. Even small steps can create momentum, and over time, they compound into significant progress. Action also builds confidence, as each accomplishment reinforces your belief in your ability to shape your future. The key is to remain persistent and adaptable, recognizing that setbacks are a natural part of the process. A critical aspect of taking control of your destiny is overcoming fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, and fear of the unknown can all paralyze you and keep you from pursuing your dreams. While fear is a natural response to uncertainty, it doesn't have to dictate your choices. Facing your fears head-on and taking action, despite them, is a powerful way to reclaim your power. Each time you step outside of your comfort zone, you expand your capacity for courage and resilience, making it easier to tackle future challenges. Another important element is embracing change. Life is inherently unpredictable, and clinging to the status quo can limit your growth and opportunities. Taking control of your destiny means being willing to adapt and evolve as circumstances shift. This might involve letting go of old habits, beliefs, or relationships that no longer serve you. Change can be uncomfortable, but it is also a necessary ingredient for growth. When you approach change with curiosity and openness, you position yourself to discover new possibilities and strengths you didn't know you had. Mindset plays a crucial role in shaping your destiny. A positive, growth-oriented mindset allows you to see possibilities where others see limitations. It helps you persevere through difficulties and learn from failures rather than being defeated by them. Cultivating a mindset of gratitude can also enhance your ability to take control of your destiny. By focusing on what you have rather than what you lack, you create a sense of abundance and possibility that fuels your motivation and creativity. Surrounding yourself with the right people is another vital component of shaping your future. The company you keep can either propel you forward or hold you back. Seek out relationships that inspire, challenge, and support you. Be intentional about spending time with people who share your values and encourage your growth. At the same time, be willing to distance yourself from those who undermine your confidence or drain your energy. The people in your life have a profound influence on your mindset and choices, so choose them wisely. Taking control of your destiny also requires a commitment to lifelong learning. The world is constantly changing, and staying curious and open to new ideas allows you to adapt and thrive. This might involve formal education, learning new skills, or simply staying informed about the areas that interest you. Knowledge is power, and the more you know, the better equipped you are to make decisions that align with your goals. Taking control of your destiny means believing in yourself. Self-doubt is a powerful barrier that can keep you stuck, but faith in your abilities allows you to take risks and pursue your dreams with confidence. This belief is not about being perfect or having all the answers. It's about trusting that you have what it takes to figure things out and overcome challenges as they arise. Self-belief is the foundation of resilience and the driving force behind every successful endeavor. When you take control of your destiny, you step into a life of purpose, fulfillment, and empowerment. You are no longer at the mercy of circumstances or the opinions of others. Instead, you become the author of your story, charting a course that reflects your values, passions, and aspirations. The journey may not always be easy, but the rewards of living a life that you have consciously and courageously shaped are immeasurable.